related to agenda items. City ordinance allows members of the public to speak and give input up to 3 minutes. During public comment, there can be no debate or action by the city council at this time. Anyone in the lobby, Rick? No? Ann, anything? Nope. Okay. Moving on to mayor's comments, I would like to declare a proclamation for Junior Achievement Day. Whereas the city of Geneseo will observe Junior Achievement Day on April 4th, 2024 as an opportunity to recognize and celebrate junior achievement of the Heartland for empowering our young people to own their own economic success. Whereas Junior Achievement of the Heartland's educational contributions equip our young people to become the next generation of productive employees and self-sufficient citizens to ensure the economic prosperity of Geneseo. Whereas it is fitting for parents, educators, businesses, and members of the community to join Junior Achievement's effort to ensure future success and economic health of our young people and the communities in which they live. Now, therefore, I, Sean Johnson, Mayor, do hereby proclaim official recognition on April 4th, 2024 as Junior Achievement Day. No other mayor comments at this time. Brandon, city council comments. Any members of the council? No? Okay. City administrator comments. Brandon?
All right. I want to remind everybody that we're in cemetery cleanup right now. That ends at the end of this month, just a few days away on 3/31. Anything not attached to monuments in the cemeteries will be cleaned up. So make sure you get everything out that's in the grassy areas, not permanently attached to a monument. Hydrant flushing will be April 1st through April 5th this year, also coming up in a few days. The burn pile opens on Friday, April the 5th. A lot of questions on that coming in. That will be open shortly here as well, followed by the first Saturday open on April 6th. The Mindful Strides 5K and there's a 2-mile walk with it as well. This is an initiative, a new 5K race at Richmond Hill Park that's being put on by the Geneseo Police Department Dementia Friendly Task Force. This will raise funds for some of the dementia friendly initiatives in the community. Want to encourage everybody to check that out. Check out the PD's Facebook page for that, or the city's. And then spring's curbside cleanup will be on May 6th through the 9th this year, Monday through Thursday. Check the city's website or Facebook page for the schedule of where the pickups are happening at. Also want to mention, just remind the council, tomorrow we're having an employee recognition lunch at noon in this room for employees recognizing the efforts during the winter storm. So if you can come to that. We did this last year after the tornado response. Any council members that can come and hand out lunch. It'll kind of be a grab and go style lunch, and we have commemorative coins, appreciation coins for the employees that you guys can hand out as well. So encourage you to do that. Just also want to briefly say, we're not going to really provide commentary on the county situation, but there's a really serious cyber attack that is going on at Henry County right now. Did just want to say, I want to give credit to Garrett and Gene Carson, who have been working the past 9 days really around the clock to make sure that the interconnection between our system with the county has not been breached. And I know Garrett's done a lot of different things with our computers to make sure that they're not getting into our system. So just want to thank these guys and, just say, we have 2 really great professionals working on the situation. So thanks, Garrett. Gene's at a meeting about it right now at the county, I think. So, okay. Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay. Moving on under administration, item number 8.1 would be the discussion of the farmers market agreement.
Okay, so this is an item that we do every year. Just a simple license agreement with the Geneseo Farmers Market to use Pearl Street just north of the north side of the city park. Chad and I met with the market manager last week. We're proposing this to be and this runs from June through the end of October every Saturday. of every year. We're proposing to do this license for a 2-year term in 24 and 25. And so we could revisit it after 25, but we'd like to just renew it for 2 years. There's no money that changes hands here.
I'll make a motion to recommend to City Council the license agreement with the Geneseo Farmers Market for the years 2024 and 2025 and to place on the consent agenda.
Motion by Barnhart. Second by Arnold. Roll call.
Rothschild,
Yes.
Kennett,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Barnhart,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Samowski,
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. 8.2 under administration would be the revolving loan fund, Vibrant Health Chiropractic LLC.
Okay, so this is a proposal for a revolving loan fund from the city of Geneseo. The revolving loan fund committee met last week. Jamie sits on that committee along with Steve Tates of Farmers Bank and John Du Bois of Central Bank. Review the application, financial documents, business plans, credit checks. So Vibrant Health is a chiropractic facility that's currently in Cambridge. This is Crystal Strode's business. She's a chiropractor and business owner. They are looking at buying out Burke's Chiropractic here in Geneseo. Burke's is retiring. They'll still own the building, but she's buying the book of business from the Burke's. Crystal is at Vibrant Health, and they'll continue on the business here in Geneseo. Our understanding really is much like it runs today under Burke's. So Henry County has agreed to a $50,000 revolving loan fund at 4.25%. Staying with past practice, we'd like to mirror that 4.25% at 10 years. And we can do 20,000 is what we're comfortable with in that fund. The committee recommended this to come to council for approval, and that it looks like a good bet for Geneseo on the 20,000, reviewing all the financials and the business. That's it.
I'll make a motion to recommend to City Council R24-8 and to place on the consent agenda.
Motion by Kennett,
Second.
second by Swanson. Roll call.
Arnold,
Yes.
Barnhart,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Kennett,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Samowski, Rothschild.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. 8.3 under administration would be the future solar array project presentation.
Okay, so in late February, oh, I thought Eric was going to come up. Okay. In late-
I'm gonna let you do it.
Okay.
I wanna see what you have to say.
Yeah, I bet you do. Yeah, police. In late February, Eric introduced to the council the topic of a future solar array project for the Geneseo Municipal Electric Utility. Tonight, we have Tim, David, and Evelyn here with us in the front row from RSS, who Eric talked about in that last meeting would be our partner in this project if it were something to go through. So we've invited them here tonight really to expand upon Eric's discussion, provide a little bit more detail on what this project would look like, some of the details, some of the timelines, and why it may make sense for us to look forward in the future at doing this. Tonight, we're not looking for any real action by the council, except for the council to again say, this seems to make sense. Let's have Ansel Glink's team that looks at these renewable energy agreements to look at a purchase power agreement, some of the other documents, make sure they make sense, that the financials line up, and then we would come back to the council for approval of really getting into contracts. So with that, I'll turn it over to Tim and his team to present.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Good. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time tonight and inviting us. My name is Tim O'Malley. This is my partners, David and Evelyn. And following up on what Brandon said, we're been talking with Eric and working on this project and for quite a while now. And we wanted to kind of run through and allow you guys to see what we're proposing and then be able to ask questions. So companies RSS, we are a startup, but we do have over 50 plus years in combined renewable experience. I'm from Amboy originally and have worked on many of the wind projects in the Compton Sublette area. That's where I started my career in wind. Currently live out in Rhode Island and been working out there for about 6 years on projects as well. But we have a lot of experience from all over the country and multiple other countries, and have done a lot of projects all over the place. So it's kind of us. My background, mostly operations, maintenance, construction. And David is a CPA, project finance, was former CEO at Goldwyn, where we worked together for years. And Evelyn is on the legal side and renewable energy, heavy background in project finance and renewable energy law. So some of the references on projects that are similar to what we're proposing, wind turbines and net metered, behind the meter, solar as well. One of the reasons that I started talking to Eric was about the turbines here. My background is heavily on that exact technology. And then we started, talking about other things that kind of led to this solar development. So have a lot of background on everything you guys have going on here with the renewable energy that you already have. Project overview. So what we're proposing is a partnership with the city to allow us to develop, engineer, construct, and operate a 2 megawatt AC system, which is double the size of the one you have now. But the footprint will probably be roughly the same since technology has advanced and the modules are much more powerful than they were even last year and the year before. So we would lead the developments and engineering, procurement, construction, and the finance. It would also, what we're proposing is to allow us to own and operate the system in preparation for the city to then acquire it in year 6. And there's some benefits that we feel make sense for both of us on that. We are looking at the Prairie Park area for the solar array, and we were working with Eric on different placement and trying to understand what you guys have going on out there right now and what we can do to try to be a good neighbor and utilize the space that's kind of unutilized now. So what we'll be doing is roughly a 2.5 megawatt DC, 2 megawatt AC. We're looking at single axis trackers. So what you have right now is fixed tilt. The difference would be that these would actually track the sun throughout the day. So you produce more power in the same area. That technology has come a long way. When you guys built yours, that was kind of, it wasn't very reliable and it wasn't cost effective. Things have come down. So we'd be looking to interconnect along Roos Hill Road. It's a good spot for it. You have underground utilities there, which could actually help the city with some redundancy. There's 2 circuits there. So by developing this, it could actually improve the reliability of the system. So we're looking at a 30-year production of around 116 million kilowatt hours of electricity. And what that means, what we're looking to produce per year can power about 363 average US homes. Here's some examples, kind of pictures of typical equipment. You'll see a lot of this kind of looks similar to what you have out there now, but solar inverters, some combiner box and AC combiners, pad mount transformers, and so the economic benefit, the structure that we've kind of created, is aligned to keep the average cost of energy throughout 35 years on under 4 cents. That's pretty. We feel that's pretty impressive because right now you're roughly around that, and 30 years from now, energy cost obviously goes up year after year. So this is a way to have predictable and stable long-term energy. One thing that we really like about Geneseo is your ability to have the independent electric production that you have. It is very unique. We've been to many of these meetings and worked with many different people, and there's not many places like Geneseo. And Eric gave us a tour of your generating facility, which was really cool. So being able to work with you guys on this and allow you to take advantage of this long-term cost-effective electric, I think will, just go to keep you guys in the situation that you are now, to be independent and provide power without relying on other bigger, independent or utility-owned, people coming in and keeping Geneseo really as independent as possible. So, it's predictable, it's stable. What we're looking at doing is utilizing some of the incentives from Illinois to share that value with Geneseo so we can keep that cost down. So this is kind of our forecasted electricity prices based off the MISO rates that have been out there. And as you can kind of see, it obviously trends upward. There is, on the lower graph, you see a spike. And that was a few years back where energy price on the MISO market skyrocketed. So we feel that what we're proposing is a way to kind of hedge against some of those unpredictable spikes, as well as keep you guys cost effective throughout the next 30 plus years, where the MISO energy market trends upward. You're going to know kind of where that price is going to be. This is an example of when we do a power purchase agreement, any power generated at the site in the first 5 years, Geneseo would be purchasing that off the site. And in the PPA, there's pricing, and what's not fully in the PPA is this REC sharing credit that we are proposing, and that is a way to allow extra benefit from the Illinois Shines program that we would apply for the project, and we would then share that benefit with Geneseo, so it would be an offset to the PPA price. So due to that REC sharing credit, that's what really drives that price down to under 3 cents, really around the 3 cent range for the first few years of this. And that's a really good price. And other economics here, when our goal here is to, like I said, operate the project, own it, and then in year 6, allow Geneseo to purchase that project and then own and operate it for the remainder of its useful life. So this is what we're estimating now. System purchase price at the end of it would be about $3.4 million, and that's $1.39 a watt DC, which is a competitive price because of this sharing, allowing us to own and operate it. We would have investors that would take tax benefit out of the project that Geneseo couldn't fully utilize. So that's what helps drive that cost down, where you see lower power from the beginning and then a lower purchase price in year 6. So total cost of energy over the lifetime of this system, which is actually probably what we're showing, is probably a little higher than it's going to be, since Geneseo, you guys will use your current staff on the electric team to take care of this. So your operations costs are going to be way lower than ours would be, than anybody that would have to hire outside. You have the people, you have the equipment, the tools, everything's in place for you to take advantage of that. So what we're showing as kind of long-term operations costs is probably lower for you. So the EPC, it's kind of the steps of how you build a project. You start with your engineering, which we would work hand in hand with Geneseo to make sure that we're building a project that works well and integrates well with your system. Once we're all established there, start the procurement process, purchasing equipment, and then we would construct the site. Currently, the longest lead time items are like transformers, electric equipment, 36 weeks to 40-ish weeks. That's coming down a little, but fluctuates, but that's kind of the average. And then operations and maintenance would be the next. After construction, we'd go into the operations and maintenance phase for the first 5 years, or until Geneseo exercises the right to purchase. RSS would be fully responsible for the operations and maintenance. The only thing that the city would be responsible for is purchasing the power that's generated. So if nothing's generated, you pay nothing. If whatever's generated, you take. So that's mitigating a lot of the risk. There's no, if a lot of people are, well, what if it doesn't work? If it doesn't work, you don't pay anything. So we're very confident that it will work. So, local impact. We would like to partner with, the Career and Technical Center to provide information on careers in renewable energy, discuss internship opportunities for local students, and then, offer field trips for the local schools and really promote renewable energy. And it's really good that, you guys recently opened the Career and Tech Center. It'd be good to get, high school students interested in renewable energy. There's lots of great careers, lots of high paying jobs. Hopefully get them to stick around this area, but there's nationwide, there's a lot of good opportunities in renewable energy, and it could be a good partnership. We would love to. I can talk about this stuff all day with anybody. So ask my wife. So what we see as the next steps, we're kind of looking at this in multiple stages, because a lot of this hinges on us applying for and receiving the Illinois Shines REC incentive. So we want to make sure that we're all in lockstep when we are going through these processes. So we're confident that that's going to happen. There's a timeline that, depending on when we apply, how long that'll take. But let's say it doesn't work out or it doesn't get approved. No harm, no foul. We can separate. There's no long-term locked in anything. So the stage one is to get the PPA, land lease, interconnection agreement, and disclosure documents agreed to. We would do some baseline engineering and project design in conjunction with the city. And then we would apply for this adjustable block program through Illinois Shines. And that's where we wait. And if we get awarded that, awesome, we move on to the next step. So, and that would be into the higher engineering, permitting, procurement, construction, and commissioning. So that would be after we're all in agreement with the site engineering and working with the utility. We'd get to the point of commissioning, and then into the operations and maintenance phase. And then year 6, we would have the option for Geneseo to purchase the project from us, and we would be there for ongoing support as needed. I don't think these guys need much support. They already kind of know what they're doing. So, but yeah, that is the high level of it. So definitely want to open it up for questions.
I guess I have a question.
Yeah.
Is construction of this, if we get, everything goes through and then we start the construction, are we using local labor? Are we using labor strictly from the state of Illinois? Are the panels and the steel, everything is basically from Illinois?
So we're trying to keep everything as local as possible. Obviously working local labor. JF Edwards, we've been talking with them already. There's so many resources available in the area. We would definitely use union labor for the project. There is requirements for
Wage and apprenticeship.
yeah. So there's a lot of requirements for that already. So working with the local unions is your best bet. So
And we had a meeting today with Central Bank about providing debt financing to the project. So, right next door.
As far as equipment goes, as much local as we can. So I know that there are some panel manufacturers in Rockford. We absolutely are looking into that if it works with the system and the cost, obviously, and as much domestic content as possible, steel, inverter equipment and interconnection equipment for sure.
Do we have any sort of estimate, and this is probably more of a Brandon and Jamie or question about how much are we going to be investing for us if they don't get the agreement and they walk away? Because we're obviously going to have to be paying Ansel Link to work on things and our engineering and such. So what could this cost us if they walk away with the?
So it would be engineering. So the way that it looks on our end, we'll have to engineer the interconnect for this project. Will be one of the big things. It'll be attorney fees for Ansel Link to review. There will probably be some surveying fees if we go and look at surveying the property out at the city down in Prairie Park, and then possibly even purchase, because the electric department does look at purchasing the property from the city.
But it's important to note that the engineering and the high dollar stuff, we wouldn't be getting into until we know, and these agreements on the purchase power that Ansel Link will review will have outs for us in them. If we don't get those state credits, we're all out. You know, it doesn't make sense.
Right. I'm just
So-
meaning though that, again, hopefully for the positive, but if for some reason we get to that point, we don't get the renewable energy, but we've spent 30,000 on attorney fees and everything, it'd be good to know how much would we be investing to that point, just to know what we might be out if it doesn't work.
I would also say to that, when
making up that
we
number,
are
obviously.
moving forward with
Yeah.
this project, even if it's not this project, that at some point we are going to be looking at a solar project. And if we can identify a parcel, that's only going to go towards it more than anything.
I was waiting for that.
I heard he was pro bono.
And 30,000 pesos.
We have a solar team, so it's that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's gonna be part of us.
Oh, yeah. I shouldn't even throw out a number. Yeah.
But the concern is real. How
Mhm.
much do you know, in case it, backwards, right? So, but you're not, it's not that kind of.
So,
And
so,
also-
oh, go ahead.
Just one clarification. So for the Illinois Shines program, it's really more about timing. It's not really discretionary whether you get awarded a project or not. You have to check all the boxes in the applications. And then they look to see if there's capacity in the block program to award you some capacity under that. So if there's no more capacity for a certain year, we get pushed to the next year. And so the rec pricing might be adjusted. And what we've done in the agreements is try different so that we can negotiate sort of another economic deal that works for both parties. So that's the way we're looking at it. Because again, we want to be good partners, and so we want to make sure you don't feel like we, tried to pull a fast one. So.
And like I said, the stages. So that first stage, relatively, most of the burden's on us to do project engineering and apply. And that's where we wait. And so if we get the green light on that, it's good from there. So, and that's when kind of more bulk of the information and engineering comes in.
And I'm sure you're not the only company that does this, obviously.
No. We feel that we're unique in the rec share approach. We have not seen anybody else do that. So that's where we feel that we're unique.
So where does Geneseo benefit? Just from the 3 cents a kilowatt hour? Or, I mean.
Yep.
My question is can as a municipality, can we as a city not, is it the Shines program we get filed for? They can?
We have to do that. Hit your mic.
Sorry. The question I have is, when we built the solar array on the south end, did we contract that out or did we do that ourselves?
So when we did the solar array, we got $1 million grant from the Illinois Clean Energy Foundation. With that grant money, we moved forward with it. Without it, we would not have done it.
But we did not build that.
But no, we did not build it. We had,
But we didn't we didn't do like this. Somebody built it for us, but we didn't buy it in 5 years from somebody, right?
No, we're not doing finance like this. This opportunity for us makes the most sense. For one, we plan on doing a solar array at some point. With our bonds that we currently have, we're unable to do it. This does get us a head start on before those bonds fall off to have something in place that we could purchase off of them. With the PPA and that rec sharing, that price of power becomes cheap for us to buy, cheaper than what we could buy it on the MISO market. So we benefit from that. In that period of time where our bonds fall off and we buy a new one, buy this, we can save up some of that so we don't have to bond the 4.3 million in full. We can bond a lesser amount.
Like how much?
Right now, it's looking like we could, depending on how we set it up, be 1.8 million,
It's about half.
about half.
Okay.
And then that gives us a bond payment of close to 225,000 roughly. That is manageable. If you look at our bond payments now, we pay almost 630,000.
And to build it on our own would cost?
So if we were to build it on our own, we can get the Illinois Shines program. We can do a lot of this. We don't have, right now, we can't do it because of the bonds. We don't have the manpower to do that. It is one of the bigger things. Is, for us to tie us up in procurement and design and all that.
That's a service we'd have to render anyways.
But we're gonna have to do that anyway, because you'd have to have somebody build it anyway, correct?
Yeah, again, I'm trying to separate physical construction from, like Eric's talking about, the entire, the filing, the process, the procurement, all those things. It's two separate issues. One, we don't have the staff to do that properly and efficiently. And then, yes, the construction would also have to be.
I'm just trying to figure out what the benefit for Geneseo of this is as opposed to something else.
If I may.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There are federal tax incentives specifically for renewable energy projects that Geneseo as a tax exempt entity cannot fully utilize or receive. So our role has been to structure and bring in us as the investing party that can provide you value or provide Geneseo value for those tax credits that you wouldn't otherwise be able to receive. So we're basically unlocking value that you couldn't receive if you did this yourself.
Okay.
And that amount,
Translates.
yeah, that translates. So in 5 years, you're basically going to be getting a system at roughly 60% of what it would cost you. So that provides air. And for the first 5 years of the system life, you're going to be buying power at roughly net about 2 cents a kilowatt hour. So go check your electricity bill at home. No offense, Eric, but it's probably a lot higher than 2 cents.
And Eric, the system that we have down there, it produces how much?
That system down there is roughly 1 megawatt.
And what's a kilowatt hour it costs us to run that?
So right now, for us, like, what does it cost us to run it?
I mean, has it been stable throughout the entire life of the prop? I mean, they're talking 35 years. That's a long time. They're saying our stuff is outdated on the south. Well, after 35 years, this
So
might be
technology is
outdated.
always getting better.
Sure.
Your inverters are more efficient, your panels are much larger, so we have like 290 watt panels right now. The panel size has grown.
We're looking at like 650 watts per panel instead of 290 that you have.
So you can produce more energy in a smaller footprint than what the technology was in 2000.
And the price has been stable?
The prices, I think it fluctuates more than anything, depending for maintenance cost on ours. Very low maintenance. There's no moving parts. We've had to replace some DC combiner boxes and mowing upkeep. Very minimal.
Yeah, I think it's important to remember too, that just because technology changes with any specific system, it doesn't mean the system that we may possess or own, like our current solar array, it's not bad in any means.
I didn't say it was.
No, but I'm also talking to the public here, because just because something newer comes out and something is Lisa's taking notes. It'll be a nice article in the paper tomorrow. She does a fabulous job. Wait, no, just because technology changes and things get better, like our wind turbines, that is much older technology than what is going up nowadays, but they're still very beneficial to the city and what we are trying to provide to our citizens.
I agree, but when someone tells me that 35 years, they're forecasting a cost in 35 years, I find that hard to believe.
Well, it's pretty predictable, and in our model, we assume a year 15 inverter replacement that we've modeled in. So that's inverters now. 15 years was kind of the goal. It was like, well, these things will last 15 years. They're starting to push out a little farther, but we've modeled in year 15 to completely replace every inverter, and that's your wear item. The modules themselves degrade at about 0.5% per year, so those things will last. They're warranted for 30 years, so they'll last 30 years. And at certain times, you may be able to upgrade them at if certain incentives are available. But yeah, we're pretty confident in the model. The equipment has become even more reliable, and we were speaking with Eric today, and pretty minimal issues that you've had on your site. It's just stuff's a lot more efficient now. So yeah.
And also, as part of the financing for this, if we're bringing in folks to be able to help unlock value on the tax equity side for the credits, they look at the useful life of the project, and they're accepting 35 to 40 years. So
As a useful life?
Yes. So they won't finance it if they think that people are being too aggressive. So that's right now, market standard has been 35 to 40 years.
Cool.
My question is,
Sorry.
I like this project. I think it makes sense. But I was just wondering, the solar array that we have, I'm just thinking in the future, okay? Can that be updated
Absolutely.
so that it would be as efficient as this? And it wouldn't, I know there's price involved, but it probably wouldn't be as bad as what starting from scratch. I'm just saying in the future that maybe we could make that one more efficient. I don't know.
You can, absolutely. And that's a big thing with solar, especially. Once you have it installed, you have the racking there, you have the utility stuff, the transformers, the switch gears, all the BOP equipment is going to last a long time. So it is a lot easier to upgrade once there's a system in. So yeah, it could
I'm
absolutely.
just saying the panels is what
Both the wind turbines and the solar array, we would look at that, at repowering them at some point to be able to produce more energy.
How many years are they out there? I can't remember.
The wind turbines were put in 2009, and then the solar array was put in 15. So
it's
probably in the next 5 to 10 years, we'd probably be looking at doing some sort of project with our wind turbines, as long as, if it's repowering them or, making things more efficient. And then our solar array, we'd be doing the same thing, looking at, 10 years, if it inverter replacement, or if we're, it makes more sense, prices come down on the technology, it makes more sense to produce more energy in that footprint and then do it that way.
If I may make one recommendation that you want to take into consideration as you're thinking of potentially upgrading your current systems, the tax credits that are currently available, they are set to expire in 2032. Okay. So if you want to receive the greatest economic value for your system, you may want to think about doing that in advance of that.
Would that also be a case where we'd have to use a company to get the federal ones to do that? Like a go-between. Someone like you, again, that could get the federal.
Yeah, so I guess the good thing is you kind of have the intellectual property from this first project of how to do it, and we could help you in the future. Obviously, you could go to somebody else, but you could look at doing it yourself. You receive some of the benefits, but maybe not all. But it's something that you want to consider before the expiration of the credits.
Yeah. So in the Inflation Reduction Act of 22 that was put through, that gave us that 10-year window of these credits are going to be there. Here's the rules, and so it's already been over a year, so time goes quick, so.
So it wouldn't be more efficient or more financially responsible to upgrade? To upgrade those first while we're doing this, or does it
No,
matter?
You still, because the investment you've made already, you would just be taking on more of that, so you probably want to get more useful life out of it.
Out of the
before you-
life cycle before, yeah,
What's the life cycle?
right.
They were saying 15.
And how old was it? How old they say it was?
09 for the turbines, 2015 for the
So it's just
solar.
only been 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Any other municipalities in Illinois or Iowa that you have recently partnered with in a similar type of project?
So
that you
we've
could-
talked to, we talked to a lot. However, Geneseo is in a unique position to do something like this that others aren't, because you are not tied down into a kind of a group power purchase agreement. So you guys, that's kind of what I was saying is what you guys have going on here is very unique, where you're very independent when it comes to your options for electricity. And most other groups we've talked to, they'd be like, oh, we'd love to do this, but we can't. We're tied to a contract.
Yeah.
We cannot buy power from anybody else but these guys. And they're like, we wish we could, because 10 years ago when we signed the contract, coal power was cheap.
Right.
Now it's not. So they're seeing the effects. And I think people talk to Eric a lot at some of the committees that he's on, and, hey, how'd you do what you did? It made sense back, 10 years ago, but now people are seeing the error of the ways, I think.
So you said were you gonna say something, Ken? You said that the the equipment was sitting out about 36 weeks. What's the time frame for for filing the application, getting it back? What's
It
the,
could go pretty quick. I think we have an overview we can send, but once we get to the point of applying, I think it's like less than 2 months that we would get the results back of either, hey, there's capacity in this block that you applied for, or everything looks good, you're on the wait list. So the block is currently full, but it starts over in June. So we would like to, time is of the essence. The faster you apply, it's first come, first serve. So we want to get in as soon as possible. And then once we apply, so not at, minimum is end of June, mid-June, if that's the timeline we're looking at. If we get in pretty quick and then that new block opens, then we should know within a few weeks of, hey, everything looks good. And hopefully the line isn't so long that the new block opens and it gets sucked up right away, and then we have to go into the next block. But that's not the worst case scenario. It would just be another year until we.
so block is a year normally?
Yes, correct. Oh, or until it fills up. So before this, the program wasn't as popular as it is now. I think it took some time for people to get comfortable with it. So now we're seeing a lot of people apply very quickly. There's different programs you can apply to, but the one we're applying to never used to tend to fill up very quickly or at all. And last year it did. It filled up pretty quick. And so it's getting more popular.
So you apply in June, let's say you get approved. Is that when you bring costs back to us, or how does that?
Yeah.
What's the-
So that once we have confirmation on that, if we get approved, then we agree to move forward together. That's when we do the more in-depth engineering, which will fine tune all of that. Then we would come back and say, here's the final numbers. And, we're
But that engineering at that point is still on you until you get to the
after
final, some kind of
so It
agreement?
would be like in our step 2. So that's when we would move forward with Geneseo doing some of the interconnection engineering and stuff like that. And then we would come back and agree. Yeah. So.
Now, once all that's out of the way, what is the time frame of construction, start to finish till it's up and going?
Less than a year. So, obviously we want to align with the weather and the seasons. So, once we have the equipment on site, these can go pretty quick. So I would say 6 to 8 months full start to finish, as long as everything looks
Depending
good.
on the weather.
Yeah. it's a fairly small project compared to some of the big ones. But
You're not looking, there's no motion or anything for this one, it's just a thumbs up.
There was none, this was just information.
Approving anything tonight?
Move it to review.
Right. I mean, there's no execution of any agreements or anything of that nature, but we need to get these folks authorization. Author.
What's that gonna cost us?
I'll make a motion to
But
direct.
hold on, you
Oh,
raised a question.
sorry.
I think Dirk assured the fact that they have a solar team and they're very familiar with these types of projects, that it
Okay.
would be insignificant.
Oh, yes, it will not exceed, unless they get really crazy. Your lawyer time ahead of time won't exceed 3,000.
Just wanna find out. Thank you.
I've shaved a zero.
Keep shaving.
let that be on the record.
I'll make a motion to direct city staff and the city attorney to review a solar purchase power agreement and revenue sharing agreement with RSS for the proposed solar project.
Second.
Motion by Swanson, second by Arnold. Roll call.
Maybe.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
There's
Thank
too
you.
many on.
Oh, we're already.
Oh. Arnold,
Yes.
Barnhart,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Kennett,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Samowski,
Yes.
Rothschild.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, folks. Item number 8.4 on the agenda would be surplus property, a 2014 Police Department Ford Explorer.
This is just a resolution to declare the 2014 PD Ford Explorer as surplus property, and we will send it off to auction.
Motion to recommend to city council R 2409 and to place on the consent agenda.
Motion by Arnold,
Second.
second by Kennett. Roll call.
Rothschild,
Yes.
Samowski,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Kennett,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Barnhart,
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item number 9 on the agenda would be the payment of city and utility bills.
I'll make a motion to pay bills as presented.
Motion by Barnhart,
Second.
second by James. Roll call.
Swanson,
Yes.
Barnhart,
Yes.
Rothschild,
Yes.
Samowski,
Yes.
Arnold,
Yes.
Kennett,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item number 10 would be public comment related to all other items. City ordinance allows members of the public to speak and give input up to 3 minutes. During public comment, there can be no debate or action by the city council at this time. Rick, nothing? Ann? Okay. Item number 11 would be adjournment. Motion by Arnold,
Second.
second by Barnhart. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned.
Here it is back there.
Thanks for coming in all the way.